Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessie Wadia from Platinum Radio. I would like to find out if, as a commission, you have any platform where you'll be publicizing the verified parliamentary results, because the grapevine is going wild and there are changes going on. So I'd like to find out if you have put anything in place for parliamentary results. Thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good morning to everybody. I am Gladson Moses Piri from the Democratic Union Party. Thanks for the update and for your commitment. Appreciating the efforts you are doing and the efforts that the Zambians have advanced before the 2026 tripartite elections, and the anxiety which comes with the election results. I suspect that most of the Zambians obviously are expecting quick results. So far, we have at least 4 constituencies which have been announced. When you say 13 hours we are waiting for that and 20 hours we are waiting for the same results, how many constituencies on average are going to be announced as far as possible, so much that our anxieties are settled? The anxieties of others are also settled. I know everybody is anxiously waiting for the final results. Thanks.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good morning, CEO, and good morning, the rest of the ECZ team. My name is Maurice Nyambe from Transparency International Zambia. I wanted to ask in relation to the final declaration of results. I think in the schedule that you released before polling day, you did indicate that this will be done on Monday. Now, yesterday we had a suspension of the announcement, which lasted for about 6 hours. And I'm wondering what implication that will have for that original timeline that you gave in terms of when the final declaration will be made. And then just as a rider to that, I'm also wondering when the Commission will give the nation a bit more detail about the circumstances of the suspension yesterday, because I think there are quite a number of issues that have arisen and questions that remain. Yes, the suspension was lifted, but the questions I think still remain in terms of what really informed that decision, and are we going to be given a lot more information as to what transpired? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nyambe. At this point, maybe we let the CEO respond to the questions and issues raised. If there are further questions, we'll come back to the floor and get them as such. CEO.
Thank you for those interventions. Firstly, on the question from Mr. Manza, I'll start by addressing the interventions. You will recall the statement from the chairperson at the point of lifting the suspension did indicate that the security threat to the electoral process had been contained. So the Commission is closely liaising with the relevant law enforcement agencies to ensure that the process, whose key ingredients are the officers themselves and the materials or information, is secured. So we're working very closely with the law enforcement agencies to ensure that the remaining stages of the process are protected and proceed as scheduled. Let me comment further. I trust that you gave that background as part of an education to the public to say, to be cautious about reacting to misinformation. we have a situation where public property is lost because of misinformation. You're right, in Mwense, the stakeholders were called to meet, and the same fears that had led to that misinformation did not have evidence. They were all able to appreciate that the ballot papers that they had verified before the deployment of officers were the same ballot papers that got to all the polling stations. So once again, to continue to call on members of the community not to take any information they come across, verify with the Electoral Commission, be it here at head office or indeed through our district offices throughout the country. The second is platform for release of parliamentary results verified. Let me begin by saying that unlike the presidential, the parliamentary election results are declared at the constituency. So as the returning officer in each of the 226 constituencies makes that declaration, those results are final. So the first point of call for members of the public is, if you come across parliamentary results, do a quick check. Is the document that you are being presented with, be it on social media or any other platform, does it indicate that it is a declaration of results at the totaling? If it says anything else other than that, when it comes to National Assembly, ignore it. Then it's not the final result. The final result will be very clear. It's a declaration of the results at the totaling. Now, coming to head office and the National Election Results Center, I'm sure you'd understand that the Commission is prioritizing the presidential election results. However, this is not to say that in due course we will not share the consolidated as we receive them from the respective constituencies. So this information will be shared, but kindly note within the context that this, the National Assembly take second or third, rather the presidential takes precedence, as can obviously be understood. Moses from the DU, rest assured the Commission will announce at 13 and at 20 hours. For now, I'm not in a position to give you the exact number, but the Commission will announce. What I can indicate to yourself and indeed all the stakeholders is that we're beginning to see an increase in the number of results that we're receiving, and the verification process is proceeding smoothly. So we will see progression as we go with the announcement. Mr. Nyambe TZ, thank you for that question. So to recap, the Commission, in preparation for the 2026 general election, made an undertaking that the declaration of results for the presidential election will be done within 72 hours of the close of the last polling station. In the yesterday's update, we did inform the nation that the last polling station closed at 02 hours. And thank you, Mr. Nyambe, for recognizing that the suspension does affect the calculation of that 72 hours timeline. So if we do a rough calculation, from 02 hours yesterday, we add the suspension period, we come to about 08 hours. So, and then we work out 72 hours from there. We still end at Monday the 17th. So we are, what will change is at what hour on Monday, but we will still, the 72 hours still works out to Monday the 17th. So the Commission is continuing to work to achieve that target so that by that time, the presidential election is declared. I thank you. Oh, okay. The second part of the question related to the detail in terms of the circumstances. I believe the statement from the Commission was very clear that what led to the suspension was the security situation, and the relevant authorities had informed the Commission, and from our own assessment on the ground, it was clear that such an intervention needed to be taken. And as the Commission had committed, a review was going to be done within 24 hours. And I'm sure we were all glad to note that it was way before the 24 hours that that suspension was lifted. So really, in short, it was the security situation at that point in terms of both the staff and election materials, or in short, the process as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. I am looking around the room just to be sure. Yes, please, you can move to the podium. And we'll take this as our last set of questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Jonas Zimba. I am representing nrpup. I wish to raise two pertinent issues. I'll start from the background that elections are a transparent process that involves participants you call stakeholders. It would be a mockery to come here, call us stakeholders, and you don't give us a chance to participate in what is going on. For example, what was happening yesterday was not at all impressive, where you would come in, you don't want to speak to the people you're calling stakeholders, and you go out. If we want to make the process transparent, let us engage each other and see how we move forward. Secondly, I am looking at the decision that was made by ECZ yesterday. That decision was illegal. You do not have the authority to suspend an election. But what the Commission has is the authority to approve a request from the presiding officer to suspend an election. You did not present before this House any 13,529 requests from polling stations or presiding officers who are saying there was a problem. That in itself is a problem. You didn't have that authority. I'll also conclude by saying that as we go forward, there must be no Gen 20 forms that are printed in this place. Gen 20 forms are handwritten. So before you announce any results, let us engage as stakeholders, as well as the Commission, agree on those results, and then you can make the announcement. Thank you very much.
If you have a question, my suggestion is just quickly move to the podium. I'll see you from here. It will help. We have about 4 or so podiums, so let's do that. Please proceed with your question.
Good morning. My name is Joanne Musabila from Prime TV. I just wanted to find out from the Commission yesterday's announcement with regards to the suspension of the announcement and counting of results, citing post-staff security and also the issue of theft in some instances. I just wanted to find out from the Commission if at all the Commission is accounting for the theft of the ballot papers and how they're doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Let's proceed to the next podium.
All right. Thank you very much, Corporate Affairs Manager, and also the Chief Electoral Officer, Mr. Casaro. Thank you very much. My name is Innocent Piri from KBN Television. As I begin my questions I have, I want to call upon the conscience of the Electoral Commission of Zambia officials and ourselves in this building with the fact that we were accredited to be in here together with some international media who are in here. And as you know that the media is here to ask questions and to take note. So in short, we are skilled to basically ask questions or get clarity in an event where we are not clear. So I want to appeal to your conscience, CEO and your team, that maybe going forward, try to find it within your heart to engage us, the stakeholders, especially we from the media. We will not be here just for the sake of listening, then from there you step aside. I think we're taken aback a little bit at some point. I'm speaking as a journalist, but also as a stakeholder in this particular auditorium. I thought I would put that on record, right on what the council has mentioned. Secondly, you realize that some of these questions, we should have asked them maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago, but we were somehow, for lack of better words, left behind or abandoned, so we couldn't ask them. The question I have to you, the Commission, is first of all, to find out the Windsor incident which happened on the voting day on Thursday. I was among the journalists that went on site to go and check what was going on in there. And I engaged the officials from the Commission to find out why the commotion which happened. Because rumor had it that at the time when the Commission officially closed the voting process, later on there was some disruption which was necessitated by some purported students within that area. And therefore, your officials found it fit to reopen the voting process beyond the stipulated constitutional timeline. When I engage your officials, CEO, and your team, you will be surprised to hear the response I got, in that I was told that yes, we did not want to allow those students to come in because yes, we had closed, but they came with some confusion and they were chanting some violent slogans out there. So we said, let's use diplomacy. By allowing them to get inside, we give them ballot papers to do a dummy as though they are voting. But in the actual sense, we know that we will not admit those ballot papers. And then I questioned, said, does the Constitution allow you to do a dummy on a voting day? I thought that when the closing duration closes, you cannot reopen it regardless of the circumstances. So that was something that I would want you to clarify with your team. Also, NGOCC board member was captured along the way, Madam Leah Muteva. She actually spent a night in police cells because her phone was confiscated. These are stakeholders. What are you doing, CEO and your team, to ensure that people are protected, people are not harassed, but also in terms of security? Of course, I have to conclude. I have to end. I had a lot, but I have to reserve time for other people. Something quite burning in the Republic of Zambia, especially in this particular election. Yes, we do have value the peace we have enjoyed as a country for the last 62 years of our independence. But however, this election seemed to have brought a different touch altogether. Yes, the dynamics have changed because of maybe the constitution. But it's something which is burning in the minds and the hearts of many people is that in an effort to enhance security, you brought in other faces or military wings, such as others are calling them soldiers, others are calling them commandos. The question is, why deploying soldiers or commandos, as it were, in this particular election? Were the police going to be incapable to handle the peace of this country, which we have enjoyed for many years? That, I thought, it could be clarified. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good morning, CEO. My name is Leslie Chikuse, President of the Republican Progressive Party, the UPND Alliance spokesperson. I just wanted to find out, yesterday you gave us good counsel that declaration of declaring that you are a winner before the Electoral Commission of Zambia is a crime. Now, we wanted to find out, apart from the criminal aspect of it, which is very important, do we have any administrative methods that the Electoral Commission of Zambia do undertake to try and avoid this recurrence. I'm saying this because of these declarations, we saw some properties damaged, where some unruly cadres went to celebrate in a very obvious, awkward fashion. So we are looking at these declarations. How do we ensure that apart from the prosecution part of it, the criminal aspect, there is intervention to avoid a recurrence or to subpoena such people so that we don't have a chaotic, election. And then also we want to appeal from the UPND Alliance that we shall depend on this, electoral body for the announcement of elections, and that we don't want to have situations where people go and make declarations and create tension in this country. Because as a country, we've got a duty to ensure that we have a peaceful atmosphere, and the mandated institution that is given the authority to declare elections is you, the people that are seated there, and others that are not there. So please, how do we deal with these people that are deliberately trying to create tension? And then also, lastly, we had before the elections people declaring that they were ready to kill and to be killed. Have you put sufficient security to ensure that no citizen of Zambia must be touched because of an election? I thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. My name is David Mvula. I'm the Executive Director for Common Grounds Network, and I'm also the Vice Chairperson of Civil Society Alliance on Legal Reforms. My intervention this morning, the Electoral Process Act, if we look at the Electoral Process Act, if we look at the Constitution, it gives the power to the Commission to conduct elections. Conducting elections also entails that the Commission is empowered to employ election officers to conduct those elections on their behalf. So when people come to this podium to say the Commission does not have power, then I'm saying to myself, then which commission would have that power to conduct these elections? Because everything is prescribed in the law. It is prescribed. I just want to encourage colleagues that when they come to the podium suggesting that the Commission does not have the power, they should quote the law where that provision is specific to say, here you don't have the power. Let us not come here to try to cause commotion. ECZ is not conducting election in isolation. We are witnesses to these elections. That is why we are called election monitors, election observers. That is why we are here. So let us sober up and allow the process to roll out. Secondly, I just want to say something that there have been misinformation on the media. Misinformation, misleading misinformation about these elections. I would want to ask the CEO how the Electoral Commission of Zambia agencies to curtail this misinformation. If it is on the media, how is the Commission working with ZICTA to ensure that those who are spreading misinformation about these elections could be arrested. If we're going to have a transparent, free and fair election, we need to ensure that all arms of government are put in place in their mandate to curtail such an arrest, because we don't want, this process has been peaceful from the time we started. The poll day was very peaceful. People should not start causing confusion as the commission is counting the votes. I thank you.
Let me just quickly get an indication of how many people we have with questions. Okay, so we are capping at the last 3 so that we conclude. Let's proceed.
Thank you very much. Good morning, CEO. My name is Wali Anondo, a bona fide citizen of this republic and a member of nrpup media team, national media team. CEO, the first day when you addressed this house, I brought to your attention concerning Honorable Mao Sampa's conduct, which earlier you described as a crime or a criminal conduct. And your response was that at that time, you had not received or seen the purported picture which he took inside the polling station as he was voting. The country would wish to know if up to now the commission has not seen that picture. Secondly, when you suspended the counting and the announcement of elections, you cited one of the reasons that certain criminals somewhere went into polling stations and stole ballot papers. The country would want to know what has happened to those stolen ballot papers. Thank you very much.
Good morning, CEO. Good morning, members of the Commission. My name is Mohango Gift Shawezi. I'm from KTV Africa, Kutika TV Africa. I would like to echo my colleague's sentiments, especially my friend from KBN and also the gentleman from TIZ. The issue of giving us half-baked information is putting us, your stakeholders, especially the media, in an awkward situation, because people out there are expecting us to give them information, especially after the suspension. You intimated to us that a statement will be given and I think posted on your platforms. But where you suspend a process of such magnitude and then you post a one-page statement, how do we explain the circumstances that lead to it? Because these are burning questions. People out there need to know. Like we are asking, what happened to the ballot boxes? Where are those pockets of violence? People are asking questions. And when our colleague from TIZ asked the question, I think the perspective, CEO, that you took is the fact that it was explained during the briefing. But you just gave us the reasons as to why, but never told us exactly the bottom lines, the specific reasons that we need to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Max Moe from the UPND. It's just a rider on our alliance partner, our leader Chikuse's question. On yesterday's guidance by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, we do acknowledge that one of the candidates, President Mundubile of the nrpup, declared himself a winner, after which his own members went on rampage in some cases destroying property, taking over or grabbing trading centers, and causing a lot of havoc in some parts of Lusaka. We would want to know what remedies the ECZ has administered to see to it that this perpetrator is handled as per law established. The other one is a comment which I need to also make in relation to the suspension. Our considered view as a party is that the Constitution of Zambia, of course, mandates the Electoral Commission of Zambia to preside over all electoral processes. And we do believe that the ECZ is not a court to be moved by someone else. It can actually move itself when they see it fit to remedy a particular situation. In view of this, we want to indicate that it's not statute bound that someone must first of all report. That's when they move in, because they are not adversarial. They can also be inquisitorial. They can inquire in a particular matter and make a decision. We submit.
Thank you very much. I would like to close at Mr. Small. There's already some, I said, can we see the people that need to ask questions? I saw 3 hands. Now I'm seeing another person. Please proceed and I'll cap it at that. So anybody else on the podium, please bear with me. Mr. Kasonde Mwenda has just walked in and is already raising his hand. Mr. Kasonde Mwenda, sir, you've just walked in and they're already raising your hand. Okay, let's see what we can do. Sir, may I request that you sit for now? Let the CEO respond because I need to just check. I'm seeing more hands going up. Just be near the podium. Don't go far. Don't go far. You can sit almost near there. We'll call you back to the podium. CEO, let's respond to the issues, questions and concerns raised, because I see a number of stakeholders want to still interact.
Thank you. I'll proceed to address the questions. The first question from Mr. Jonas. Firstly, I think that the fact that I'm here today together with colleagues from management is a recognition that the Commission places importance in these interactions, especially that it is the Commission that established this National Results Center for purposes of sharing information on the 2026 general election. Now, as developments occur, there may be instances where a statement will be read and like yesterday, a statement was read and no opportunity was given for question and answer because of the circumstances in which we found ourselves in and needed to address urgent things that were developing situations that led to that same statement and continued to be monitored. So the fact that we're here today, to repeat myself, and having this interaction means that is a testimony that we appreciate, and we will be available to be able to take clarifications and explain things as we go along. So in addition, members of the press, once again, the fact that we are here, probably our consciences have already been spoken to. You say you'd like to appeal to our conscience, but the fact that we are here means that this has always been a plan of the Commission and is the policy. So please rest assured we'll be available to address the concerns as much as we can. Now, secondly, there was an allusion to the fact that the Commission suspended the election. Probably to clarify, the statement was very clear. What was suspended was counting an announcement, not the election. So that needed to be clear. As to the question of authority, I think the Commission put forward its understanding of the legal mandate it has and the reasons for that suspension. You have a different interpretation. We will leave it there, but I think that's understood. Let me clarify on the issues of Gen 20s. I think we've come across this information also on social media, that in the results management process, I think right from the beginning, as we've been explaining, is that the results management process starts from the polling station. Now, our polling station are not computerized. The processes there are entirely manual. And when it comes to the presidential election, the document, the announcement form document at the polling station is referred to as Gen 20. That document is completed by hand. So the names of the candidates and the votes obtained are completed by the presiding officer by hand. Upon conclusion of the process or processes at the polling stations, the presiding officers proceed to the totaling centers. So they proceed to their constituency centers. At that point, the result from the polling station is read out, and then upon reading it out to the audience within the center, the result is handed over to an appropriate officer for capture into our results management system. And now that system is the one that is used for adding up the votes in that constituency for each of the candidates. And the totals for that constituency is a printout of the system. And the form is also called Gen 20, but it has an A at the end. It's a Gen 20A. And that form, the figures, the candidate names, and the votes, total votes obtained in that constituency are computer printed. The returning officer does not need to write those by hand. Okay? So it is that form, the computer printed out form that bears the ECZ logo, and it's a Gen 20A, that is used by the returning officer at the constituency to announce the results of the presidential election at the constituency. Remember, the operative word is announce. They're not declaring, they're announcing. So once again, rather 20B. So once again, sorry, let me correct myself, it's 20B. Okay, but just note that there's a letter at the end of the 20, not just 20, Gen 20. So the important thing to note is that it's a computer printout. So when we're comparing these two forms, let's take note of that distinction. There's a Gen 20 from the polling station completed by the presiding officer, and there's a Gen 20B at the constituency center that is computer generated, albeit signed by the returning officer before the announcement is made. So let's make that distinction very clear. There was a question on the ballot papers in ballot boxes that were reported stolen. Yes, the Commission is accounting for this. So as the Commission continues to announce the results, and specifically when these constituencies will be announced, detailed information will be provided for this so that the nation can appreciate how the votes that had been cast have been accounted for those particular polling stations. So for now, they're not among those that the Commission is announcing. So when we get to the point where we announce the results for example, Mandevu constituency, the nation will be informed as to how the particular issue will be accounted for. Thank you. I think I did address the issue, the first part from KBN, in terms of stakeholder engagement and addressing concerns from the media. On the second part, most of what you narrated there, we're learning those facts for the first time, except for two comments to make. Firstly, without specifics of, you did allude to an official of the NGOCC that was, may have been arrested, without necessarily giving a detailed comment to it, but suffice to note that the law is very clear around usage of electronic devices in a polling station. And that is prohibited. In terms of the circumstances at the University of Zambia, once again, it's an item that will be addressed as the Commission announces results for Munali, is it Roma constituency? No, Roma, right? Yeah, Roma constituency. So we have a detailed report from our returning officer that they did follow procedure in administering the poll at the polling stations at the University of Zambia. In terms of deployment of the other security agencies besides the police, this, for those of you who have followed the electoral process, this is not the first time. During the 2021 general election, during the announcements of results again, right here at the National Results Center, we did, the Commission did have the support, not only of the police, but other law enforcement agencies. But what is important to note is that in all these undertakings, necessary protocols are followed, which the respective law enforcement agencies ensure that are adhered to, so that everything is done in accordance with the law. So be rest assured that their presence is for purposes of ensuring that the process is secure and the citizens feel secure. And you will note that when it comes to polling stations or totaling centers, they are never inside. They